Heather Travar here, your law school lawyer. Let's get prepped for LSAT by looking at the big picture. Here are some tips right now. Step 1, relax a little. I know it's hard. I know you've got a lot riding on this test, but let me tell you, this is not even the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the stress that you will feel as an attorney. Law school is going to be pretty stressful. You've got a lot of money and time riding on this. The bar exam's even worse. But let me tell you, when you get out into the real world and you start practicing and you start facing things like malpractice suits or even jail time or just trying to sleep at night when you know you've ruined someone's life by a stupid mistake, that's a lot of pressure. So if you can't handle LSAT, back out right now. And that wouldn't be the worst decision you've ever made, by the way. But seriously, relax a little. Okay. So when you're taking LSAT, this is not a test of knowledge. You don't need to know facts. You're not regurgitating information. You are applying your reasoning skills. Does it make sense to give a future lawyer to test their ability a test that is multiple choice? No, it's idiotic. But this is the system you're coming into, so get used to idiotic things happening. Do the best you can. Pick up some prep books, maybe 2 or 3 to start with, and start going through them and understanding each section and what's required of you. Learning how to take the test, and this applies to the bar exam as well as your law school exams, is just as important as being able to do the work. If you don't understand how the test works and how to work the test, you're not going to do well. And the only way to do this is by doing a ton of practice tests. Okay, but back up. Before you start doing practice tests, you need to go through, understand what is required of you in each section. Are you being required to give the right answer? Are you required to give the least wrong answer? Are you required to give the most right answer? It's going to depend on the question. And this is good practice for the bar exam, so just get used to this as well. I know there will be sections you'll do better on and sections you'll say, oh, I'm a lawyer, I don't do all this math reasoning. Get used to it. Because it doesn't matter what your skill set is, because your main skill set as an attorney is your ability to learn and think like a lawyer. So the sections you don't do that well on, beef them up, practice more. That's all there is to it. If you want to do this, do it right, dig your heels in, get it done. Okay, should you take a prep course? Maybe, maybe not. I've heard mixed reviews on this. I've heard people say their scores even went down after taking it. I'm sure some people would say they're an absolute requirement. I didn't take one. I did well enough to get a scholarship to law school. You decide what is going to work best for you, and that includes how much time and money you have available. Okay, you've gone through all the sections. You understand what was required of you. You understand what each question is asking of you, what kind of answer you're supposed to give. You're ready to start doing practice test. That's great. Now you take the test and your score's not quite where you want it to be. Should you retake it? Nobody really knows the answer to that question. I am sorry to tell you that. People will tell you they know the answer. Nobody really knows. Unless a law school actually tells you for a fact how they will handle multiple tests, you don't know. Here are the possibilities. You can get your score averaged. They may look at the lowest score. They may look at the highest score. I was reading someone out there saying they are absolutely certain that the law school will submit only the highest score to the ABA. Of course they will. That makes them look good. But the people that they accept, did they only have that highest score? Did they take it multiple times? So what I'm saying is, if I apply and I've got a really low score and then I get a better score, are they even going to accept me? Versus the person whose highest score they're reporting, maybe that person already had a pretty high score and then they got a higher score. So you don't really know what's going on in the admissions process. Maybe they report the highest score to the ABA, but are they really considering your highest score? Remember, not everything that is considered is written down or typed in a computer. Sometimes it's just up here. So you don't really know what's happening. If you go to my alma mater, Cumberland Law School, they will tell you to look at the previous year's entrance to see what the median score was. that really doesn't tell you very much. This year, everyone could be a bunch of dummies and the scores are really low. Or maybe the test got much harder and everyone's score is really low. Or vice versa. You don't know. You don't know the pool of people coming in. You have no idea what their backgrounds are, so you really don't even know your competition. All you can do is your best. Okay, so if you go to University of Alabama Law School, they will give you a better idea of what your minimum score should be. But again, what really happens when you take multiple tests? No one really knows. So should you take the test again if you don't get the score you want? Well, you're going to have to think about what is the worst case scenario. If they consider your lowest score, is that going to be good for you? If you did pretty good to begin with and then you do a little better, maybe a few points up will make you more eligible for scholarship money, but if they consider your lowest score, then you wasted your time and money. If they average your score, that could also be a big dent. However, if you did really bad the first time and you do much better the second time, obviously an average score would help you a lot. And in all cases, of course, if they consider your high score, that's the best. If you're deciding, should I retake LSAT? Consider these. First of all, do you even have time to retake it? Do you have time to retake it before the deadline to apply? And do you want scholarship money? The sooner you apply and get accepted, the better your chances are of getting scholarship money. It doesn't matter if you have the highest LSAT score. If you apply too late in the year, there's not going to be any scholarship money left. I had already received a scholarship offer before a lot of people had even applied to law school. So factor that in. If your score is pretty good and you've got other factors in your favor, maybe it's better to go ahead and apply and hope that you can get some scholarship money versus waiting in order to possibly bump up your score a few points, not even knowing if that's going to be considered. Secondly, did you do your best? If you did your absolute best and you don't think you can do better, move on, apply, and do your best to get accepted. Maybe some scholarship money will come your way, maybe not. And I'm just being realistic, guys. If you've done your absolute best, what are you going to improve on? Consider all these factors. Remember looking at the big picture, because looking at the big picture is also a skill a lawyer desperately needs. And it is very easy for a lot of us to get caught in the nitty-gritty details. But remember the big picture. I hope this helps. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. I'll see you next time.